for nutritionists and NTs who want to just pick up some business tips or just are interested in learning how to grow their business, be more successful, more profitable, and more work less, and basically help more people and get out there and help more people. So that's what I'm all about. And today I'm starting off with the 2 Ps. Now, these 2 Ps are absolute business growth killers if you let them get in the way. I am, of course, talking about procrastination and perfectionism, and I'm going to go through each of these and hopefully give you some tips on how to get past these 2 Ps so that it doesn't crush your business dreams. Now, first of all, excuse me, I've got a nasty cough. I've had a virus, not the big C virus, luckily, but it's lingering. And every time I speak about it, I start coughing. So excuse me for the cough, not the most healthy today, but hopefully this will be useful for some of you. So procrastination. So what is that? That is when you are putting things off for whatever reason, every reason under the sun probably, putting off something that you should be doing or you want to be doing in your business to make it to grow, to extend your reach, to reach more clients, to do your marketing, your sales, whatever it is that you're putting off. For me, it used to be assignments at Ion. The worst thing in the world, hated them, never wanted to start them, never wanted to do them or finish them. And for me, procrastination looked like literally doing anything but cleaning the house even, which is my worst nightmare. So I get it, I suffer from it like everybody else. And I just wanted to talk about some ways that we can not let it get in our way too much. Now, procrastination, I often describe it as like being on a roundabout or analysis paralysis. So you're going round the roundabout, you know you need to take an exit. You're not sure which exit to take, which route to take. So you just keep going round and round and avoid making that decision because you're just worried about taking the wrong decision. So you don't make any decisions and you don't get anywhere. Excuse me. So we want to not be on this roundabout. We want to take an exit. And that will get us somewhere. Even if it's the wrong exit, it doesn't matter. We can come back and take another exit. But not taking action is the outcome of procrastination. So that's what we want to avoid. So why does it happen? Well, first of all, we can have overwhelm. And that's a really common thing, especially when you're just starting your business and you're faced with everything you have to do to move your business forward. And that can be incredibly paralyzing. Secondly, we can procrastinate through lack of clarity. So if we don't know where we're going, if we don't have a sat nav with a destination on it, you can end up going round and round because you're not sure which route to take. So that makes sense, doesn't it? So the clarity thing is really key. Often as well, we procrastinate because we're looking way too far ahead. So imagine we are looking at our 1 year, our 2 year, our 5 year goals and thinking, oh my goodness, there is so much to do. I don't even know where to start, so I won't start. I'll just put that decision off. And that's because it's just too huge. You're looking way too far ahead and there's so much to do that we can't mentally break it down. The next reason we procrastinate is because we compare ourselves to everybody else around us. And this is a classic, and it's not just in the NT world, it's in every business owner will be doing the same thing as you. So comparing to others, looking at what they're doing, where they're at, and thinking, oh my God, I've got so much to do to get to where they are. I'm not doing enough, blah, blah, blah. And then you get the overwhelm and then you don't do anything. The next reason to procrastinate is fear of failure. So if we do something, we are scared that it won't work or that we're going to be judged and not judged very positively or not liked or even rejected. All of these things we're very scared of because obviously that's not a very nice thing to go through. But in business, it's absolutely unavoidable. So that's something that we're just going to have to get used to. So how do we conquer procrastination? Well, first of all, we need to prioritise. So get that long-term vision or those goals and break them down. And really, it's nice to have long-term goals, but in the short term, you really only need to be looking at the next quarter, really. That's how far ahead I go in terms of detailed planning. So in the next 3 months, that's enough time for you to achieve things, but also not get overwhelmed. So have a look at the next 3 months. Where do you want to be in 3 months' time? And then break that down into months. So each month, what needs doing, and then break that down into weeks. So what is the most important thing this week to get you to where you want to be in 3 months? And then look at this week and break that down into days. Okay, so today, what is the most important thing that I need to do today, just today, to get me to my weekly goal, which will get me to my monthly and then 3 monthly. So break it right down to the next thing you need to do. And that takes off the overwhelm, takes off the, oh my goodness, it's too big thing. The next tip is to take these small baby steps. So taking action every day, even when you're not really sure whether that action is the right one or not. So it's taking that exit off the roundabout and just baby steps. Sorry. And then the next thing to do, there's a trick that you can do if you're feeling like you just cannot get your head around starting something. So if you have to write a blog, for instance, or you have to write a script or plan your social media, or whatever that is, try this tip. And it's just this. Say to yourself, if I can just write the first line, if I can just do the first line of my video script, if I can just write the title, whatever it is, just start and just don't give yourself too much, just give yourself one tiny thing to do. And often it's that starting that is the hard push. So if you can just make that easier, and then the momentum starts to kick in, and actually you end up doing it quite happily. So the next thing is to get the clarity. So clarity is often missing because we're not clear on our vision, what we're doing this for, what our niche is, what our avatar, our market is, who we're trying to attract, what our message is, what our story is. We have to get really clear on all of those things. Otherwise, you're just going ahead blindly without any kind of direction. And how on earth can you get things done? Or how on earth do you know what route to take if you haven't got that clarity about where you're going and who you're trying to attract and who you are and what your message is and all of that stuff. So that is really important. The next tip to get over procrastination is to plan your content. Again, you don't have to do this too far out. You can do it by quarter. This is what I do. I do a quarterly plan for content. It takes away that overwhelm. So when I first started doing my weekly content, I'd get to every Monday and think, oh Lord, here we go, Monday again. What am I going to talk about this week? And it would be this kind of big deal. It would be overwhelming and I would be very tempted not to do it. So things kind of slipped and then I'd miss a week, maybe miss the next week. So I got really clear about doing a plan. So I plan my content every week, topics that I'm going to talk about. So every time it comes to Monday, I know what I'm doing for that week. And, it's not fixed in stone. It can change. You've got to keep things flexible. Next tip is to learn to love failure. Now, you're going to fail several times. In fact, the more you fail, the more you're learning and the more you're going to actually achieve in the long run, because you need to try things. And you only, if you stick your neck out and take a risk, it's going to fail sometimes. I've failed lots and lots of times. But every single failure is you learn something. And when you learn something, you're growing. And that's the main thing. So you have to learn to embrace failure and not be afraid of it. And then you can put things out there and it doesn't matter if you fail, right? The next thing with procrastination is getting over your need to be liked. This is a big one. We all want to be liked. We all want to be loved. And, when we put our necks out or we put some content out there and we get more visible, there's quite a strong chance that you're not going to be liked. And that's a good thing because you can't please everybody and not everyone's going to like what you do and how you do it. So you are going to be liked by the people that are your tribe, your people, your ideal clients. These are the people you need to help. So you need to concentrate on them, focus on them, and don't worry about the rest of the world, because business is just like life. Not everyone in life is going to like you. You're just going to have to deal with that. And it's not a nice feeling, but actually, who cares? The older you get to my age and think, oh, who cares what people think? Just get over it, because actually we're here for a bigger purpose. We're here to help people and serve people and get them healthy. And you can't do that if you're worried about who's going to like you or not. It's just something you're just going to have to get over. And my last tip on procrastination is to watch Mel Robbins. Have you heard of Mel Robbins? She's Australian, I think. Anyway, she's got a great video on YouTube, and it's called, just look up Mel Robbins 5-second rule. She talks about making decisions in 5 seconds, and it kills any procrastination that you'll ever feel. So that's a good one. Second P, now, perfectionism. Now, a lot of you are perfectionists. I know that. Because I teach a lot of NTs and I come across it daily amongst them. And it's an excuse not to put something out, or put content out, or get visible, because you're waiting for something to be perfect. Biggest, it's not what's the word? Rocket science. Nothing or no one is ever perfect. It's not a big secret, but you need to know that nothing you put out is ever going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect, and no one else is either. So that's all right. Perfectionism comes from our need to please again. And the more we want to please, the more likely we're going to get burnt out. It also comes from this fear of failure again, the being judged thing. And it comes from this very strong kind of inner critic or limiting belief that we have about not being good enough. Because if we think about putting some content out or doing something in our businesses, there's that voice going, you're not good enough. This isn't good enough. It'll never be good. And the thing is that if that voice is there, it's always going to be there. So you're never going to get over it. So what we need to do with perfectionism is, there's a few things. Firstly, we need to practice saying no to people. So we want to get away from that people-pleasing thing. That's not going to lead us anywhere good. So practice saying no to the tasks and the people that we don't really want to be doing or seeing or helping, because at the end of the day, we've only got so much energy and time and sanity. So we need to save all of that for the people that we want to say yes to. Secondly, we are not going to get away from feeling the need to be perfect. We can feel it, say, okay, yeah, I'm feeling the need to be perfect here, and then we can let it go. Because like I said, perfection is just not something that we can ever achieve without killing ourselves. So let it go. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, and it's okay. The world is not going to fall apart. It's fine if you make a typo, or if you're saying something that you're not that convinced about, or whatever. It's fine. No one's going to die, hopefully. Next thing to do is recognize that inner critic telling you that you're not good enough. You'll get the voices. We all get them. Imposter syndrome. You're a fraud. You're not good enough. No one's ever going to pay you. All of that stuff. You don't know what you're talking about. Who are you to stand there and say that? We all get them. But we want to be aware of them. And once you recognise them, you can then decide whether to listen to them or not. So you can say, thank you very much for trying to protect me, because that's all they're trying to do. And say, do you know what? I've got this. I'm going to do it anyway. Whatever you're saying to me. I know it might not be good enough, but I don't care. And then lastly, the secret to business success, in my view, is consistent action. Whether those actions are good or bad, or successful or failures, it's consistent action. So if you're waiting for your content or your thing, whatever you're trying to do, to be perfect, you're never going to be consistent, because you're just always going to keep missing stuff. So don't wait for it to be perfect. Just do it anyway, because the main thing is that the people you're trying to help is that they get to see your stuff consistently, and that's the way you help them. So doesn't matter if it's not perfect. All right. So I hope that has been useful, and do let me know in the comments if you have any tips, secret tips that I don't know about. I'm sure you have, or what you struggle with, and we can continue the conversation that way. All right, I'll see you next time. Take care.